Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Ferrante, and this is my presentation on organizational development and change self-assessment. I will go over some of the things that I got from my assessment and some of my ideas and my analysis of my thoughts and what I think about organizational development. So after doing the survey, I took some time to look at the questions that I responded to, and here's some feedback that I have. So on the question about what goes on in an individual's work group or team has great significance for the individual's feelings or satisfaction and competence, I put that I agree that individuals' work in a group or team environment is significant for overall satisfaction, and I agree on that. Also, I feel like the other question of what happens in one section, unit, or subsystem of an organization will affect and be influenced by other parts of the organization, I also agree on that. I strongly believe that if one thing happens in one part of the organization, it could affect the overall organization. Also, too, I believe strongly that most managers, the authority, and the question asked was, most managers and administrators need to augment the authority given to them by their positions by developing skills and responding to their subordinates and their needs. I was kind of neutral on that. I do feel like there is some sort of need to augment authority just so that there is some sort of respect, but there has to be some control on that to make sure that there's no abuse of power. And also, too, understanding people's feelings is important. It opens up avenues for improved organizational performance, and I agree on that because when you understand how people feel, you're most likely going to understand what will motivate them and help them. Also, a major avenue towards increasing organizational effectiveness is through creating conditions that will make members influence others to make greater contributions to the organizational goals. I agree that there has to be some organizational increase in organizational effectiveness by creating these kinds of conditions that will motivate them to do something. After taking this survey, I thought about, what is organizational change? And first of all, I think it's important to understand how can we change individually? How, as an employee or a member of an organization, what is my role to make some changes that will benefit and help me become a better employee or member of a certain organization? Once we understand that aspect, we then can ask ourselves, how can I help those around me? How can I influence others around me to become better? Or how can I influence them to want to change? I think that's the biggest thing, is understanding how to encourage another person to want something, to really deep down inside want to change and become better. And also to have support groups. Not only do we progress individually or influence others to progress individually, we need to progress in a group environment and increase and progress together. So that's important to me, and I understand after taking the survey that my aspect or my perspective is, how can I help myself so I can then help others, so we can then work together as a team to increase effectiveness and productivity. So, areas for growth. For me personally, I feel like I can improve in communication. Communication is key because in order to create organizational change, I strongly believe that I have to understand how to communicate with others and communicate effectively. Not only does communication require us to talk, but it also requires us to listen. I find that listening is one of the best skills to have, so that way you can understand what's going on and then be able to effectively communicate things that will help in creating organizational change. And lastly, another area for growth is, how do I become a team player? How do I look for opportunities to work together as a team to create organizational development or create effective change? Also, it's important to be willing to commit to ideas, willing to put things out there and be responsible for change. By doing so, that shows a motivation to increase productivity and to increase effectiveness. And within any organization, each organization is filled with individuals who work together for a common goal. So being a team player will help us work together and find ways how we can work together and best do that, as well as helping us be responsible to commit to ideas and work towards those ideas. Overall, everything that I've learned from this survey helps me to realize where I can improve and what I can do to become a better individual or a better employee or better person within the organizations I belong to.